Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Making a Difference here on Buzz TV. I'm your host, Wayne Veldsman. Today I'm really excited to introduce to you Miss Debbie Lee, the actual CEO and founder of America's Mighty Warriors. I'm going to welcome her on screen now and let her tell you just a little bit about what's going on there in Arizona. Debbie, how are you?
You bet. I am doing well. We're just still plugging away, taking care of our veterans and our Gold Star families and our troops, and especially around the holidays. We have so many that are struggling. And so, we've got our work cut out for us here to continue to support those who would give their lives for us.
Absolutely amazing. No doubt it's, a non-stop, fight, if you will. Why don't you tell everybody just a little bit about how America's Mighty Warriors got started and more about what you're day-to-day working on?
You bet. So my son, Mark Lee, was the first Navy SEAL that was killed in Iraq, August 2nd, 2006. And obviously a day that forever changed our life. And I had been a widow at that point for 12 years, so I'd walked through death before, but I can tell you losing my child was so much harder than losing my spouse. And while I could have curled up in a ball and felt sorry for myself, because it is the most intense pain you've ever known, and I understand when families do that and they can't pull themselves out of that. But for me, that wouldn't bring Mark back. It physically would make me sick. Nobody's thinking want to be around me, and that's not how God wired me. So my choice was to put on Mark's boots and pick up his weapon and stay in the fight for our men and women who've served, stay in the fight for those who are still serving, stay in the fight for their families and other families who've lost a loved one. And I didn't wake up one day and say, I think I'll start a foundation. I just had a passion to help and support others. And we unfortunately lost another one of Mark's teammates 7 weeks after he passed. And I knew I needed to be there. There was a lot of support for us from when we were notified in the funeral. And then afterwards, I live in Arizona. I'm not near a base. Mark's teammates were still all deployed. And again, I feel sorry for myself. It wouldn't change those circumstances, but I knew I could make a difference for someone else. And so when we were notified that Mike Monsoor had fell on a grenade and that he had been killed, I knew I needed to be there for that family. I didn't know what I was going to do, but I knew I needed to be there. And so that was the beginning of America's Mighty Warriors and our mission to continue strong to support our military and their families. And so we're excited. We have 4 main programs. I would encourage all of your listeners to go to our website, americasmightywarriors.org, and read Mark's last letter home. It wasn't that if you're reading this, I'm gone letter. It just happened to be the last written communication that we received from Mark. Powerful, powerful letter. And one of the things he talks about in there is how we could change our world by doing more random acts of kindness. He said, when's the last time you paid for a stranger's cup of coffee or a meal or tank of gas? So we do those things, but we go up to a $5,000 grant. And unfortunately, we just had one of our veterans who was getting ready to go through our Helping Heroes Heal program, who was in a motorcycle accident and killed this past weekend. So we were able to send a check for $5,000 to help for funeral expenses for that family. As I mentioned, our Helping Heroes Heal program, we're doing a lot for our combat veterans who are diagnosed with post-traumatic stress, traumatic brain injury, many of those struggling with suicide. And we pay for hyperbaric oxygen therapy, hormone and supplement therapy. So natural things that are actually healing their bodies. And I get it why our men and women struggling are willing to try anything and everything to get rid of the pain. I really do understand that. But so much of what's out there is just masking the symptoms. It's not healing them. And that's why we've chose the therapies that we have to help them. We have a house in Arizona, the Heroes Hope Home, and one in Florida where our Gold Star families can come. We do retreats for our Gold Star families in Texas, a lot of advocacy and education. There probably isn't anything I wouldn't do for our troops.
Absolutely unbelievable. You guys are doing so much over there in Arizona, and what an amazing story it started from. So sorry that, you lost your loved ones, and there's so many out there that have lost loved ones as well. But beautiful that a lot of people can go over to americasmightywarriors.org. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Perfect. And they can check out more. Absolutely unbelievable. Debbie, thank you so much. We don't have more time to spend with you today, but I'd love to invite you back on and we can dive a little bit deeper.
Awesome. Sounds great. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Thank you so much, Debbie. And thank you to everybody else out there today. If you want to learn more about all the programs going on at America's Mighty Warriors, visit us over at iwantabuzz.com. Until next time, my name is Wayne Veldsman, and you've been listening to Making a Difference.